Hello everyone, good evening. I'm Emily and I'm from Reclaimed by Nature, and what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to show you how to make some handy little plant pots which you can grow your lovely seedlings in. I've got a nice bean plant growing here, and these are really easy to make and they cost you nothing, assuming that you get a nice free newspaper in the post, which I tend to get from our local newspaper people. So those are my little bean plants there. So right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll down the camera. I don't have anything fancy, so I'm just going to prop it up so you can see what I'm doing. Right. So as you can see, start with what you need is sheets of newspaper. I've sorted these out so they are 2 sheets thick, just a normal size newspaper, and I've got a few of these in a stack in front of me here. You will also need some kind of can or a bottle, and what's important is you need on the bottom to have this little ridge, little dimple ridge there, so it makes it easier to actually make the pots. You'll also need a pair of scissors to cut out your newspaper. You will need also some kind of soil. What I've used is, if you can see that, is some of these coconut bark blocks that you can pick up in quite a lot of stores at the moment. I personally got this from Home Bargains. They are 69p a block at the moment, and that makes you 10 litres. The added bonus of these is they are eco-friendly. They are not taken from peat bogs, which a lot of potting composts seem to be these days. And for those of you that don't know, peat basically is like a wetland area, and the peat is the humus and the stuff that's in the ground. And basically what they do is they dredge it out and put it into your compost and destroy lots of habitats. So if you can get hold of coconut bark or organic peat-free compost, then that's all the better, especially if you're having your children helping you, because you don't want them to be handling compost with nasty chemicals and things with fertilizers in. So this stuff, you just add water and it makes this lovely fine, I don't know if you can see that very well on there, this lovely fine compost that, as you can see, just falls through your fingers like that, with the added bonus of you can just sort of brush it off and it doesn't really coat your hands. And then of course you need some seeds. So I've just got a few seeds here ready to plant out, which I will do as I go along, and some kind of plant markers. I've just got these wooden lolly sticks which you can pick up. Also with the added bonus of they're not plastic, they're made from wood, so eventually will decompose and break down. So to get started, what you need to do is to get your newspaper and fold it out. You need to get your can or your bottle or whatever you're using and just measure so it's roughly, so obviously that's going to be the size of your pot, the length there, plus a bit extra for the folding. So if I cut mine about there, and what you need to do is just go all the way along and I'm just going to cut a few out. So these, like I said earlier, they're too thick, which makes a good sort of size. Right, I can make these. Just cut along here. And don't worry about the fact I've got a little bit left over, because you know me, I will be recycling that into something else. So what this leaves you with are these little strips, lengths of newspaper. Don't worry too much if the cut's wonky, it really doesn't matter. And what you need to do then is get your can or your bottle and place it so you've got sort of a gap at the bottom, so it folds. If you were to fold it like that, it sort of reaches the top of your bottle or your can along there. And you just simply just roll it up. And then still holding it in your hands. Don't worry about it being wonky on the bottom. You just fold it under. So you've sort of just got it folded like that. Place it on a flat surface. Pull out your bottom. And then what you can do is just chuck your fingers inside, but I made it a bit tall. With your scissors or anything, just sort of pat the middle down. So you'll see it's sort of flat in the middle. And if you leave that as it is and don't do anything with it, it's just going to fall apart. So if you keep holding it and chuck in just fill it with soil. But what you'll probably want to do is leave a little bit at the top, because obviously you're going to be putting seeds in, so. And there you go. There is one little completed pot. And what it should do is when you water it, it will all sort of mush in together and close up, and that will stay like that. But what I've got is I've got some little like plastic takeaway tubs and punnets. And because this is quite a tall one, I'll chuck him in here. And you can make these and they fit quite snug, like I've done with these ones. And I've got 6 in here, and it just basically holds them upright, stop them from falling over. Or if I make a few, I'll show you another method that you can do with them. So let me make another one. So if I take, again, my newspaper, which I've cut into a strip, and then leaving a bit enough to fold at the bottom, just rolling it up. And you might want to, like I do, find you left a little bit too much on the bottom, you can just slide it down. Got my pot again. Got my soil. You can just, just pack it in a bit at the bottom. And I mean, this sort of activity is really easy to do with your children. It's promoting recycling. So rather than chucking your newspapers away, you can make them into these pots. Also great to get them into gardening. Growing a few vegetables. Things like lettuce are really easy to grow with children, or beans, or all I've done with those is just sort of chucked them in and they grow. So right, another piece of newspaper. Too thick for those that have joined a little bit later on. So measure along. A little bit extra. And about the same again. There we go. Roll with that, leave a little bit on the end. Maybe a bit more. So rolled it up, tuck the end in, and having that little dimple just helps you get the folds in. It makes it easier for you to fold the bottom in. Flat surface. I find it easier if you sort of twist it out, because if you just pull it, it all comes apart. Pat down the inside a bit. Get my soil back. Trick it in. I mean, we spent the whole afternoon doing this last month. Quite relaxing, just roll in and fill in with soil. Especially good for a rainy day, that old cliche. Leave a little gap at the top for my seeds. Roll some more. Oh, that's a bit messy, that one. Never mind. Tighten it up. Not quite enough. Just pull that up a bit. Need a bit of a hash job of that one. Right. Fill that with soil. Just put that in there a second. All right, as you can see, as I said earlier with the cocoa bark, literally just brushes off your fingers. So for those of you with children, you could do this in a house. and as long as you're if you made this fibre earlier in the day and not straight, not using it straight after, it's dry enough that if you were to say spill a bit on the carpet, as long as it's not walked in, you can just get the hoover and hoover it straight up, because it's that kind of material. Right, now I've got my 4 pots made up. If you don't have these little plastic containers, what you can do is get some string, just garden twine, or I've got some of my recycled string. And if you get 4 of your little pots, or as many as you want in a row, I'm just going to do 4 because that's how many I've got. If you just get your string, I'm going to try and do this so I can't see. Just get your string like that. Just tie them together. And then what that does is you can stick them on, say if that was a plate, kind of, a bit small. But you can stick those on a plate like that. And what this string does is basically just stops them sagging and coming apart. So if you've got tall ones like I have, you might want to perhaps do one at the bottom, one at the top. Or if you've got short ones, just do the one around the middle. But I'm going to take that off because I've got a little pot. So they can go in here. So there we go. Those are those there. I don't know if anyone's watching me on live on here. But if they are, then shout out, say hello on the chat, and if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. Right, I'm just going to make a few more pots because I've got some seeds to go in. Okay, so I know roughly now how big these need to be, so I don't need to measure it so much. What I might do on these is just make some little short ones. I want to make a couple more. So I'm just going to roll my newspaper up. Put it around the edge. Push it in. And then just get some more soil for this one. I think I've got enough for one more in there. Right. So again, fold it in. Ooh, I might run out. It's okay, I've got plenty more made up. Right. Yeah, I think I pretty much brought all the ones they had on the shelf earlier in the shop with cocoa bark. Just because they only seem to sell it this time of year. Right, so I've got all 6 of those made up. I'm just going to get a bit more soil out my box. I've got a big bucket full down here. That should be enough. Brush my hands off so I don't get it everywhere. Yeah, so I don't get it. Right. So now I've got my 6 little pots set up there. As you can see, they're different heights. It doesn't really matter, honestly. And I'm going to pick a seed, any seed. Right, well, I'm just seeing what I've got here. How about some sunflower seeds? Everybody likes sunflowers, especially the birds and the insects, which is good. So I've got my little seeds. I'm just going to pop on the top. I'm going to put 3 in each pot. What I tend to do for plants like beans, just put 1 in a pot, or if you're doing garlic or onions, obviously little tiny seeds, you just do a sort of a small sprinkle. But for the sunflowers, I'm going to do 3 in a pot. I'm going to put a bit more soil in there. Just a little bit too far from the top. So just put 3 in each one. A bit more soil in that one. Oops, got it everywhere, that one. Right. So now I've just put, if you can see, 3 little seeds in each one. Just going to put a very fine sprinkling. Not going to compact it down, just literally going to put a little sprinkling on each of these. Because basically the seed needs to be able to see the light through the soil, so you don't want to put too much soil in. Otherwise it'll just sit there being dormant. So you just basically got a small sort of pinch on each one and just sprinkle on top. And now I'm going to get my little tags. Ooh, excuse me, just knocking the can over. And I'm going to put on here sunflower. And I just like to put the date as well, just so I know when I planted them, so I can know when to expect them. And I just chuck it in one of those, like so. And there you go, and that's those all done. Put my spare seeds away before they go missing. Right, so that there is your pots you can make from newspaper, which hopefully you can get for free. They're really easy to make, as I've just demonstrated. They don't fall apart as you would expect, even when you water them. Because obviously these have been watered and you'll just get this brown across the top, but they're still there. I can still pick them up. As you can see, the plants can root out the bottom of them. I'm going to need to plant these out soon, but they can root out the bottom of them. Not like plastic pots where the roots will become sort of constricted around the bottom. They can just break out. And what you can do then is you can just dig a hole in your garden, put the whole pot in just as it is, and then you haven't disturbed any of the roots, because you might find if you've got plastic pots you have to kind of turn them upside down and hit them and try and manipulate the plants out, which you can sometimes damage your roots and it will never recover from that. So these you can just plant out as they are. And also an alternative, if you haven't got access to newspaper as much as you'd possibly like to, you can also use your normal standard toilet roll tube. And what you can do is just get a bit of paper, scrunch it into a ball. Basically plug the bottom up like that. And basically what you've done is you've done the same as you've done with these, but just with that. Obviously you'll need to have a bit of a play around to get it so there's no holes in the bottom. But yeah, any spare bits of paper, one of those many junk letters you get through the post for broadband could be used on the bottom to plug your plants up. And then that's the same as those. You just fill it with soil, put your seeds in, and then chuck it in the ground. These are quite tall though, so a bit like those. Might be good for perhaps carrots or something with long roots. Right, let me move this up. Let me move my camera back up so you can see my face. Ta-da! Right, thank you anyone that's joined in. It's pretty much time up now, give or take 3 minutes. So I was Emily from Reclaim by Nature. You can find me on Facebook, which is obviously facebook.com/Reclaim by Nature. I've also got a website, which is www.reclaimbynature.co.uk. I sell a range of paper materials from recycled paper, which I make into various products containing seeds and plant materials. I make a lot of, sort of seeded paper. But alongside that, I've also got an allotment, which is why I have lots of plants, which I was doing. And I thought, well, as I got to make some up, I thought I'd show you tonight so that you can make them too. So that was that's all for me for now. So if you like this video, or if you want to see more videos, let me know. Say hello to me on Facebook or YouTube, or send me an email. Any of those. Bye for now.